Hello. Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the National Seminar Research Prospects in English Studies. We feel honored to announce that today, on the 5th March of 2023, we all have given our valuable time for the purpose of bettering the English studies. On behalf of the Department of English, we welcome Dr. A. Khan Sir, Associate Professor of Shamardas Arts College, Bhavnagar. Sir has around 30 years of experience as a college teacher, so we all are very pleased to have you here. Before moving further, some basic instructions for our presenters, and for that I will call Drashti. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Drashti Joshi, and I want to give some instruction about this. These instructions are for participants, and all presenters kindly request to end up their presentation within 10 minutes. So I will inform whenever 10 minutes are over, and around 4:30, because around 4:30 we have to gather there into admin building for valedictory ceremony. So that's why all those presenters are requested to submit their fruitful presentation through email or pen drive, because laptop won't work here. So thank you so much for your attention.
Now for the first presentation, I would like to invite Miss Asmita B. Patel to come on the stage and present their ideas. Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you, Bhavnagar University and the Department of English for providing such a wonderful platform to students like us, so that they can have opportunity to share their ideas on their ongoing research or any other important, fruitful topic. Based on my ongoing research thesis, today I'm gonna present a paper on Draupadi, the uplifted soul. It is based on the novel of Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, titled The Palace of Illusion, because she is the author that I'm going to do my research on. Yeah, this is, you can see the table of content that I'm going to presenting on. Introduction. Let's move basically from the first slide. The introduction. Actually, introduction telling about the background, why the mythological topics, especially the two epics, the Ramayana and Mahabharata, are the hot favorite, the source of inspiration for the authors. What would be the motive, or what could be the reason, and how they study these epics, the mythological stories. They are presenting these stories from the different literary theoretical perspectives, and they may be the stories may be studied from the gender studies and what do we say, the marginal studies and the feministic studies. So basically, Chitra Banerjee, in her novel, The Palace of Illusion, it is the representation of, she has presented the fragments of Mahabharata, those fragments which are related to Draupadi. And what is her purpose for selecting Draupadi as uh, the heroine or the center of the novel? Uh, as she, yeah, as she writes in the preface of her novel, she said that the mythological women characters so far remained shadowy figures, their emotions portrayed only when they affected the lives of the male heroes, their roles ultimately subservient to those of their fathers or husbands, brothers or sons. And so, bringing forth her to the center of her story is the main motive of Chitra Banerjee. These slides tells about what the other critics have said after studying her novel. Simran Siwaj, she studied the novel from the dystopian point of view. Ravi Khangai, the researcher has presented he has analyzed the struggle of Draupadi between her love for Karna and her duty as a loyal wife. Another researcher, Shikha Pawar, has discussed the shift in narration by Chitra Banerjee. So these are some basic literature review that I have done before attempting this research paper. My main objectives for this paper are to analyze Draupadi as a human woman. She is a woman, but yeah, she is the woman in Mahabharata too. But here, Divakaruni has depicted her as human. This would be my my main focus on this paper. And another one is that how to analyze Draupadi's upliftment from materialistic desire to her ultimate salvation, which would be the ultimate motive of every human, whether he is a man or a woman. So basically, first of all, I would like to analyze her as a human, and then how she progressed, how her soul gets uplifted by relating with the ultimate God, Krishna. Now, the arguments. My arguments would be based on this. What is materialism? Actually, materialism is a very wide concept, and it is a tradition of thought in which all things that exist are made up of matter in some way. As per Mary Midley, the concept of matter is elusive as it is not properly defined anywhere. I mean, which contents are, whether the physical objects are materialistic, but some philosophers have included the abstract, concrete and abstract elements into matter too. Modern philosophical materialistics included entities like energy, force, etc. into the definition of materialism. But according to the Oxford Dictionary, materialism is a tendency. Materialism is a tendency to consider material possessions and physical comforts as more important than spiritual values. This is the definition of Oxford Dictionary. But materialism is a form of philosophical monism which holds matter to be the fundamental substance in nature and all things. Matter, I told you, according to Mary Midley, that it is not clear that which contents are included, can be included into. Everybody do not agree with any one principle. So some may say that the physical objects can only be included into materialism, while the modern philosophical monism says that nature and all things, including mental states and consciousness, are results of material interaction. So basically, thus materialism includes not only the physical objects that we see or feel from the five senses, but also the thoughts and emotions we experience consciously or unconsciously. This would be the base of my argument. Now, first of all, I would like to share my ideas about Draupadi as a human woman, how she can be defined as human. She embodies the human virtues as well as follies that we all are combination of. She presents the enlightened woman who questions the norms of patriarchal society. Her desires for self-identity, as she dislikes the way she is named Draupadi, reflecting the meaning daughter of Drupad. She wants to assert her own identity. Parental love, she craves for parental love. She craves for education because she doesn't like the traditional skills, to learn the traditional skills that are made for, that would turn her as an ideal wife. She wants to be an individual. The main craving of her is owing the palace, the grand palace, which is the title of the novel. Her inferiority complex, for her complexion, she had a blue complexion, the extraordinary complexion, resembling with Krishna. Her love for Karna, she is like running behind the mirage. She knew that she could never attain him, and yet she can't help thinking about him. Her partiality for Arjun, her vengeance that aroused the most disastrous war of the history of Indian mythology. All these characteristics, it characterized her as a living human of flesh and blood, and her desires are related either for earthly object or with the men who are, after all, the perishable, the objects or the human being. How she transcends, this is very important. When she has been associated with the earthly desire to be related with, to get loved, to be loved from the human being, or to get the physical object, that will make her more, that will bind her with this earthly environment. But her attachment with Krishna, according to, as this is the quote I have quoted, according to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. By the slow process of devotional service, under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, one can attain the highest stage. The person who is free, he can free you, he can make you free. And Krishna is the person with whose attachment has made her free. It has made her to be transcended to that situation where ultimately her salvation lies. Krishna's divinity versus Draupadi's humanity. Draupadi is human and Krishna is divine. And so Krishna, her attachment with Krishna, ultimately Krishna is her touch, his touch. When Krishna touches, she confesses at the end of the novel that when Krishna touches my hand, something breaks, a chain that was tied to the woman's shape crumbled on the snow below. She was, after death, the soul is neither a man nor a woman. I am beyond and expansive and uncontainable, the form of soul, as described in Bhagavad Gita, beyond name and gender and the imprisoning patterns of ego. The outcome of my paper are Draupadi's worldly desires led to illusionary happiness. The bond with Krishna led her to ultimate happiness, and Krishna's love is the way to the upliftment of her soul. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for such an informative presentation. We came to know about many things through your presentation. So thank you very much once again. After that, our next speaker is Nirupa Hasmukh Chaudhary to share her views. Please.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Honorable Chairperson of the session, Dr. Khan sir, and participant of the seminar, I am Rupa Chaudhary, Research Scholar of the Maharaja Krishna Kumar Singh Ji Bhavnagar University, Department of English. I am working on the narrative strategy of the woman novelist in English translation. As a scope of my research time is one of the narrative tools used by the woman novelist to put forward their concern. My current paper is a humble attempt to bring forth the narrative tool time in Bharti Mukherjee's novel The Holder of the World. Julia Kristeva, a famous Bulgarian French philosopher, in her article Woman's Time, explores the issue of feminism and its connection of femininity and time. She underlined in her essay that women are more typically associated with, I quote, types of temporality in bracket, cyclical and monumental traditional linked to female subjectivity. I unquote, can be seen throughout a human history, while monumental time refer to an all encompassing and infinity long hypothetical space. Cyclical time refer to a perpetual repetition of a biology rhythm that follow that of nature. Both are approaches to think about time from the viewpoints of motherhood and reproduction. The issue of balancing maternal time with linear time must be overcome by the third generation of feminists, which is currently in the process of developing. The female protagonists are the ones who relate to time more than any other character in the novels. The question of the whether time is turned into a female sphere, and if so, how this transformation present itself, it aimed to a current paper. The Holder of the Wall by Bharti Mukherjee is a novel that connects the past and present in the society where immigrants are concerned about their citizenship and lack of root. The novel could be considered a type of computerized history. The author has effectively and defectly matched and apparently opposing words of luxurious past and mechanized present. The opening sentence of the novel, I quote, I live in three time zone simultaneously, and I don't mean Eastern, Central, and Pacific. I mean the past, the present, and the future. I unquote. Perfectly describe the effort of the writer Bharti Mukherjee to look at the past in the present and to keep it for the future through the supercomputer. Through several events throughout Hannah's life, the flavor of historical feminism is hint at Hannah's mother Rebecca's disappearance with a napmake, make an enduring impression on Hannah's psyche. She viewed her mother's elopement as essential to understanding the present in order to justify the past. Later, she compromises the idea of the perfect English lady in order to serve as Jadhav Singh's baby while he is battling the Mughals. She also acquired an obsession with needlework, which frequently represent her inner turmoil following her mother's absence. She may have communicated her suppressed, restrained, and concealed emotional through her stitching. Hannah relates her emotional self objectively through embroidery. The narrative's impact here make it clear that Hannah's mind suddenly jacks back to the past. Her stream of awareness progressed from one idea to the next, eventually leading to a sense of losing. The feeling of losing caused a relapses while also symbolize Hannah's hidden anxiety. The protagonist consigns effectively influence the novel's chronological structure of some ascent Time and space become an experience detached from their realistic ground as worries of the present stir up recollection of the past. The manipulation of historical image and event result in a pattern of key events held in a dynamic session, dynamic tension. There are occasions when a parallel action is frozen, altered, divided into many components, or even plants into a few settings. Hannah's mind is forced into a number of significant image of the past as she is caught between a terrified future and a fright, frightening past. Even though she is unsuccessful in her attempt to force an agreement between Raja and the Emperor, she manages to steal the diamond known as the Emperor Tear from Aurangzeb war tent and flee to the Panpur fort. She gave Bagmati the diamond. In a cyberspatial conclusion, Baymaster eventually locate the diamond when a year guide her through the um, miraculous event in which Bagmati rams the most renowned diamond in world into her perinatal body. They discover the keeper to the 17th century world in her grave. The future has now become the present, and the result of the finding, just as the reconstruction past has vanished with the passing the main character. Bharti Mukherjee concentrate on topic affecting women both historical and in modern life. The novel finished with the implication that time has passed and that life has continued. The narrative achieved a total transcendation of time and spatial limits. The female protagonist view time as a continuous field that collects all experience into a single timeless container. The majority of the female characters of the woman novelist enforces intensely subjective journey through time, stopping at a self-designation point of epiphany and elucidations, broken match from historical event project over sparse backdrop are noticeable more for their subjectiveness then actualization, and they serve as important thematic hint. Modern novel by women novelists have used the memory-based manipulation of time into a variety of ways. It has a dis- it has a disassembled novel into I caught stank of shelter picture held together by a psychologically based and hence subjective inner coherence. Their associative capacity is the foundation of their coherence. Women's novelists' individual prescription of time have brought a metaphysical complexity to the novelist form. According to Joseph Frank, when it comes to this work's time is a resistance to history, a revolt against historical time, an attempt to restore this historical time, fretted as it is with human experience to a place in the time that is cosmic, cyclical, and infinity. I unquote. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. One important instruction that I would like to give to presenters that no need to read everything because the explanation is required. If anything from your presentation, if any quote is there or any interesting paragraph is there, only and only that you have to read. Otherwise, you have to explain which is in your presentation. So please keep that in mind. And after that, next presenter is Miss Jaiti Thakur for presenting her ideas. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, sir. First of all, thanks to Department of English. My name is Jaiti Thakur, and I'm also a research scholar here. Thank you, sir. I would rather start my presentation. Okay, here I'm with the title Brain Drain, a study of emerging diasporas in reference with economic concerns. Many of you are here with maybe no idea about brain drain. Let's come to the brain drain. What does it means? This is the content this PPT holds. Okay, human capital flight is the emerging or is the immigration or individuals who have received advanced training at home. The net benefit of human capital flight for the receiving country are sometimes referred to as brain gain, whereas the net cost of the sending country are sometimes referred to as a brain drain. We all are aware about that there is no more boundaries that hold people back to their countries. Nowadays, people prefer to go out for studies, for good living and upgrading their lifestyle to move into the other countries and outside of their home country. So this is brain drain, that because they are taking education in their homeland, but they are serving their capabilities and their abilities to other country. So it is technically the brain gain for the other country who are receiving them, but brain drain to the country who are sending them. The word diaspora that I have used here, diaspora means dispersion or spread of people from the original homeland. Actually it means, but here diaspora stands for the individual's wishful migration, then the forced mass displacement from homeland to other land. Origin of the term brain drain. The term brain drain was coined by the Royal Society to describe the immigration of scientists and technologists, mark these words, scientists and technologists to North America for post-Europe. Another source indicates that this term was first used in the United Kingdom to describe the influx of Indian scientists and engineers. Although the term originally referred to technology workers leaving a nation, the meaning has broadened into the departure of educated or professional people from their country or economic sector or field for another, usually for better pay or living conditions. Brain drain is a phenomenon where, relative to the remaining population, a substantial number of more educated persons immigrate. Which are the causes for brain drain? Seeking for economic opportunities, new and better jobs, higher standards of living, access to housing and healthcare, political strife and instability, as well persecution based on religion, gender or sexuality. That can be the basic and notable cause, key factors for brain drain. There are pull factors and push factors that notably we can find in happening after the brain drain. Push factors generally are negative characteristics of the home country, while pull factors are the positive characteristics of the developed country. That form the push factor that form the impetus for intelligent migration from lesser developed countries, as well when people wishes to migrate to the more developed countries. Unemployment and political instability that goes the push factor, that is the push factor that make one individual to take a decision to migrate somewhere else in any other host land. Higher paying jobs and a better quality of life, examples of pull factors. Some other push factors are the absence of research facilities, employment discrimination, economic underdevelopment, lack of freedom, and poor working condition. These are the other push factors that in any home country that one any individual or professional take decision to move to the other country. Well, the pull factors are like superior economic outlook, the prestige of foreign training, relative stable political environment, a modernized educational system, intellectual freedom, and rich cultures. Consequences of brain drain. Now, what are the possible consequences of brain drain when we have studied the causes? Loss of tax revenues, loss of potential future entrepreneurs.
If summarize and conclude.
Okay, sir. A shortage of important skilled workers, loss of innovative ideas, a loss of country's investment in education, a loss of critical health and education services. A minor case of brain drain, when it happens, few people decide to go abroad, and then after few years or maybe after few months or particular span, they are moving towards other country for education purpose or maybe for earning purpose, and they came back to their own homeland. Then it is also in that case it becomes a brain drain. Okay, sorts of brain drain. There are more than this geographical brain drain or organizational and industrial brain drain. We can understand the geographical, then from one nation to other nation or from one region to other region. That is geographical brain drain. We can identify from the title itself. Then organizational and industrial brain drain, it is very narrowed down to particular company or industry. When person from one company or industry move to the other company or other industry. Examples of brain drain, there are a lot many, but I have, due to the constraint of the time limit, I have put a couple of. That Ukraine brain drain, there was a number of students who went to Poland for other studies and for further better studies. Puerto Rico brain drain, it was occurred during some crisis in 2019, and significantly it is somewhat ongoing. History of brain drain, the case of India. It is not like new to us, because from late 1960s, it happened after post World War II that there is Indian. We see that today itself, we see Indian diaspora as the one of the huge, one of the biggest diaspora nowadays. After the World War II, it started happening. Then what was like. People started moving to the other countries like USA, UK, and other most developed countries. During in between 1970s and 1980s, entire graduating classes from elite institutes of technology immigrated to achieve professional and economic success to other countries. More than 1 lakh people renounce Indian citizenship each year. It is not a less in a number. And this is the share of immigrants from all the other countries, that they are their shares into their homelands while they are immigrant in the other country. How to reduce brain drain? Now we have to the question that if we have a problem, what is the solution? This includes, but this is not a fixed solution for the problem. Increasing investments into certain areas of the economy, offering competitive grosses. Exactly, we are lacking somewhere in some majority of the criteria. Paving the way for legal and social reform, improving the quality of resources such as housing and healthcare, providing affordable housing solutions. Now the conclusion, of course, there is a problem, and the human capital is a vital part of the economy. But whenever conditions get tough, the crisis of the country, this individual may look elsewhere for better jobs, higher pay, and an important standard of living. It often leaves a hole to fill, since there may not as many people with similar skills to fill that void. Citizens may not be able to access quality resources such as education and healthcare, which also affects the quality of life. Recently, we had one column in Shatadal, last Wednesday only, that why people from the other countries looking on the Indian people, just a minute, looking for the Indian people to hire them at the greatest post, and the highest bidders are wanting them. Okay, these are the references, and thank you for your time. Thank you so much, sir.
Don't read everything you are wanting to explain, and only read when you want to quote something. Don't read everything. Because it is a consumption of time. with the constraints of time, there are still 12 or 13 presenters here. If you keep on reading and reading, they will have no time left for them to present their papers. Keep it that in mind. Okay. Next.
Furthering the session, please welcome on the stage Mr. Divakar Upadhyay to share their ideas.
फोटो वाढले भाई बंद कसे आवडશે બે આમાં સ્ક્રીન ઉપર લઈ લે બસ આ લે એક
હવે આ
નહીં.
આપણે આજ કરવા કોટલા ભરાવા
એ માટે જ થશે પહેલા એ So good afternoon everybody, and here I am with my paper, the theme cultural study, cultural perspective of Savitribai Phule's poems. The abstract that I will read full. Savitribai Phule, the first female teacher of India, is considered as the forerunner of social revolution. She is known as fearless, reasoned, visionary, feminist poetess of our country. The research article aims to discuss the poems of Savitribai Phule with the aspect of cultural studies. The poems of Savitribai Phule can be interpreted as the reflection of the situation of women and Shudra of that particular time. The study of her poems takes the researcher to assess the various cultural aspects of 19th century Indian life. The poems of Savitribai Phule succeeded to create strong impact on contemporary Bahujan, Shudra and Ati Shudra. The research article discusses the various aspects of her poems and its cultural evidence. In the beginning, I have the point what is culture and cultural study that you know very well. Who and what is Savitribai Phule? Born on January 3, 1831 at Naigaon, district Satara in Maharashtra, was married to Jyotiba Phule, the social revolutionary man of Maharashtra. At the age of 9 and at the age of 23, her first poem anthology, Kavya Phule, was published, and she stressed about the importance of education in her poems. That example is, its name is ignorance. Hold it strongly and beat cruelly, cast it away from your life. The other one is, knowledge is the real wealth, greater than any wealth. The one who has the treasure of knowledge is the wisest among the people. The another is to live with self-pride, come to school, get education. What the government is doing presently as the importance of right to education, and the government is asking each and every parents that you must send your children to school, was said earlier by Savitribai Phule, to live with self-pride, come to school, get education. Education is the real ornament of a person. Let's go to school. And she also said about loans and the borrowers. One who gets loan from Sethji will be away from happiness, will find himself in troubles. The borrower will be in trouble. Loan will lead to anxiety, will breed troubles in family life. Loan is the root cause of all evil. Thus, her poems reflects the cultural study of that particular time, and the word citation is 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this informative presentation given by you. After that, the next presenter is Nilay Rathod to please come on the stage and share his views. Thank you.
Okay, so my topic is the role of science fiction uh, uh, and its impact on the shaping the public perception of science and technology. Introduction. Many critics have defined science and fiction differently, so we'll just look at the one definition by Isaac Asimov. He states that it is the branch of literature which deals with the reaction of human being to change in science and technology. And Dire also says that even the fan has hard time to describe science and fiction, and the genre in a film, science fiction was regarded more seriously after Stanley Kubrick's work, his film 2001: A Space Odyssey. Goal of this research: this study aims to address the following questions: how science fiction shape public's perception of technology, what effect does it have on a popular view of science and technology, what is the influence of this perception on society. Next, the selected films. I have selected three. I have selected four films, but in this slide you can find that these three trilogy: Matrix, Matrix Reloaded, and Matrix Revolution. And it is being said that Japanese animation show The Ghost in the Shell was the main idea by the director. It was inspired by that show, but that show was crime and drama, and it somehow failed to bring out this philosophy that the Matrix has. Uh, Science fiction, there are many sub themes like science, space exploration, time travel, cyborgs, robot, and others. These films are frequently used to highlight political or social issues, as well as the exploration of hypothetical scenarios that reflects real world problems. Review of the literature. Generally, fans of science fiction films anticipates a sensation of wonder, curiosity, and escape. We all know that we read or watch movies to escape reality. That is why it's called fiction. And according to the National Science Foundation 2000 report, visual media's blurring of reality and fiction has harmed the public critical thinking abilities and hampered the formation of scientifically education and population. Elga Notworthy, chairperson of European Research Advisory Board, also state that it often creates confusion about nature of science and leads to blurring line between fact and fiction. It also suggests that science fiction films provide a way of society to imagine and discuss possibility of implication of technology in a way that it is engaging and accessible. A survey done by Christopher and Susan states that around 95.5 respondents are constantly reading something. Among them, 87% are reading science and fiction before the age of 15 years, and 76 read as much as current than when they started. This finding indicates that imagination of readers of science and fiction, it is not considered to be a subset of fantasy literature, but a companion by contrast. The research by Young and Carpenter studies that the influence of science fiction on public perception of autonomy weaponry, killer robots. It says in their title, the effect of science fiction is limited and pre-existing attitude belief by autonomous weaponry. And they also state in the report that this after watching this type of film where they show killer robots, autonomous weaponry, it is not changing the public audience's view of how they perceive the science and fiction. Next, the Matrix. The basic idea of this movie was that The protagonist was living in a world of simulation which is run by a machine sentience or artificial intelligence, and the protagonist is trying to escape this simulation world. And this movie also examines the philosophy of Jean Baudrillard's simulacra and simulation. He stated that these theories in simulacra and simulation, the same title published in 1983. Arvind also states that name your philosophical ism and you can find it in the Matrix. And the director also has said that we have given many philosophies in this film. This notion that we see as reality might be a sophisticated depiction conducted by an evil entity. Evil entity as we see today, AI. The Matrix expands on this idea and implies the reality is not simply an illusion, but it is actively maintained by control sentient computers. Are you living in a computer simulation? Researchers show that if you think that you are living in a simulation, so that most likely it is not that you are living in a simulation. If we don't think that we are currently living in a computer simulation, we are not entitled to believe that we have any descendant who will run lots of this such simulation. And he also proposed ideas that we have neither sufficient powerful hardware nor required software to create a conscious minds in computer. And it is to be noted that this study was done around 2003, and they also stated that near future we will have some this type of technology, but after many decades. But we can see that in 10 years we have this type of conscious artificial intelligence like ChatGPT and Binge, which showed quite a lot of time in the news. Limitations of this research, qualitative method. So my research is basically mixed method, and if you want to see the data how science and fiction impacts the audience view of science and technology, we should do a survey. The survey which I have included in this is also around 992 people, which is also considered as a small scale. And
Okay, time is up.
okay, it's done.
Okay, thank you Neelay bhai for this informative and fruitful presentation given by you. After that, next presenter is Miss Kavisha Alagia. Please come on the stage and share their ideas.
A very good afternoon, everyone. So, as you already know, or you have faced this problem of not studying the text, original text, in your bachelor's or during your bachelor's, and directly jumping to summary or the analysis which is provided to you. This was found when in the bachelor students that they have this tendency of directly jumping into the summary or the analysis of the text which the Google Chrome is providing, and not reading the original text. So I would like to investigate. I had this urge to investigate that what is the problem, what is the actual issue where students are lacking the power or lacking the motivation to read the original text. And for that, I had designed a presentation which tries to explore the potential of twine fiction as an interactive learning tool for literature education, a case study for Girish Karnad's Nagmandala. I had taken the illustration of Girish Karnad's text called Nagmandala. So, coming to the presentation. Yes. So the abstract, what I am trying to investigate or what I am trying to explore into this paper. Interactive fiction, IF. Interactive fiction is a tool for engaging students in creative and critical thinking. and it encourages them to reflect on the choices that make as creators or readers. So this paper gives you an opportunity to connect with literature in more intimate and participatory way. Crime fiction, I had selected a platform, online free AI open source tool, crime fiction, which is a digital genre of literature, subtext or sub part of hypertext fiction, which has multiple paths and allows the readers to choose their own adventure as they click on the limit. So what you do, you have this traditional text called Nagmandala, and you jump into the text like you do in the traditional manner, but here there is the screen. So the page won't bore you, the page won't create a sense of mundanity inside you. And screen, as you all know, we are the people of 21st century, so we are never getting bored with the screen. Interactive learning tools have become increasingly popular in education, and this is one such paper in which the immersive experience of the readers are discussed, and which promote the active learning from the side of students. So by conducting a case study of Nagmandal and adaptation, this paper aims to demonstrate the effectiveness of this tool, like how far this tool is helpful to students in reading the original text, how far it is giving the experience of the original text to the students. So basically talking about the platform Twine Fiction, it has a multimodal aspect. Like in traditional text, if I choose to talk about this text called a novel called The God of Small Things, or the play called Girish Karnad's Nagmandala. So we have this traditional paper format, book format with us. And students have the capacity. They will read 2 to 3 pages and they will keep it aside, like they are getting bored about that. So how can we teachers, can involve them into reading the text? So this, I had adapted the Girish Karnad's Nagmandal into digital text, and they will write this play. Actually, Girish Karnad has already written, which I had adapted and made a Twine Fiction Girish Karnad Nagmandal story, and they will click on the story and they will navigate to one chapter, to other act, they will introduce themselves to the characters. So let's see or explore this Nagmandal world. Can you please help me? Like, no, you just have to click on the image. F5. Next. Yes, click on the image. So then go to.
Cannot open from here, so we can open from here.
This is the HTML file, the Nagmandal. Now you will give me the choices and I will click on the choice which you will provide. Here we have this play titled as Nagmandal. A Play with Cobra is the subtitle, and welcome to the world of Nagmandal, a mesmerizing play by the renowned Indian playwright Girish Karnad. In this digital adaptation, my goal is to create a more immersive and interactive experience for readers, allowing them to engage with the story in a way that was not possible before, right? Have you had this experience of Twine Fiction ever before in your life? Like, so this is the first adaptation. So click here to start. I am clicking here. It's a kind of game. This is a play adapted. I had adapted this. Click to start. A man is there, so you get the perspective. Like who will be narrating the tale or story? That will be a man. So here you are getting a picture. And what the picture is about? The inner sanctum of a ruined temple. The idol is broken.
Let me just slideshow this. OBS. So everyone can see this.
So now the online attendees will be able to watch. So here you have a picture, then some text, then again one picture where the man is sitting. Click here to next. You are given this 2 choices here, next or the story, tell the story. If I am clicking on the next, then another part of narrative is appearing. Then I have one link. flame enters. So there are three flame. Actually, in the narrative, this is the kind of narrative, frame within the frame technique. And this is adapted here. So there are three flames, flame 1, flame 2, and flame 3. And a new flame. If I'm going to flame number 2, then again I'm returning to here, the front page. So I'm getting three perspective of flame 1, flame 2, and flame 3. Then I'm clicking on a new flame. Now, where is it taking me? So here, the new flame is telling a story where the story herself takes the form of a woman and appears in the sari. Then the story tell the story to men. So story tell the story. So who is in the story? There is one girl named Rani, and there is one boy or her husband named Aparna. You can see the picture of Rani, and here also it is described how she was looking from behind. And if I'm clicking on Rani, then this image is appearing. Back to presentation, please. So as you can see how interactive this is. You are clicking as a reader on the screen, and you are developing the play or the story or the text. Next slide. Yes. So a case study was done on a group of students, particularly 30 students, and they have responded very good that how they have experienced this text. So methodology is a case study. And this model was illustrated in front of students, and they had responded via Google form. And in Google form, some questions were proposed. Questions like, how interested are you in using interactive fiction as a learning tool for literature education? So extremely interested, 100% response. And why do you find this kind of model of Nag Mandal interesting? Have you faced any challenges? So the response from the side of students was very positive, and they are interested in learning this kind of text rather than reading the original paper novel or the play. So once again, their response is very good. This experience of studying the play in digital form is very interesting. They are able to understand. They are able to navigate to or develop perspective of the play. So it was. I have found that students expressed high level of interest. It was interesting and it was interactive, and that is why they had expressed willingness to learn. From the side of students, we generally find that students' willingness is somewhat low as compared to teachers. So if they have this kind of text in their syllabus, or adaptation of this kind of text, then they can study before the teacher discuss in class. So this has been proved as a good way. And coming back to conclusion, the study has also limitations. Like each and every teacher cannot do or adapt certain stories into this kind of platform, because this kind of platform requires coding and certain notes which you will have to develop. Twinary.org is a free platform, but you will need background coding knowledge for this. Here are the references. Thank you. And
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Quite interesting presentation given by you. And now I would like to call Amina Rangwala for sharing her views. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is based on feminism in 19th and 20th century, a comparative analysis to the lighthouse and Pride and Prejudice. I will discuss the abstract objectives, introduction and portrayal of feminism in both the characters, conclusion and website. Abstract, in this paper I will analysis the Virginia Woolf and Jane Austen's novel. One is Pride and Prejudice and second is To the Lighthouse. In this both the novels, the character Elizabeth Bennet and Lily Briscoe both have the feministic characteristics, and through that both the characters I will portray their feminism. Objectives to study. I will analyze the gender roles and status of women during 19th and 20th century. Then next is identify the author's challenges or reinforce gender roles and how they depict the experience of women during their perspective times. Then next I will compare the approach of feminism through both the characters Lily Briscoe and Elizabeth Bennet. Next is introduction. I will start is what is feminism. Feminism is an origin term from Latin word femina and meaning is woman. The term became popular during 20th century struggles for securing women's suffrage or voting rights, well-organized socio-political movements for women and anticipation for patriarchal oppressions. 19th and 20th century were marked the significance and one of the progressive for feministic thought. Then the two novels by Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice and Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse, are the window to challenge to face by the woman in their perspective time and how they navigate their social acceptations and gender roles. Pride and Prejudice, both the novels had different centuries. Pride and Prejudice was published in 1830, and the protagonist Elizabeth Bennet challenges the society, and through her wit and independence, she is rejecting the social pressure and intent of money and intent losing a partner. She values her who she is. To the Lighthouse was written in 1927, and Lily Briscoe is one that shows the feminist ideology. Through the rejection of gender roles and challenges, she goes over it and she makes herself independent and autonomous. Next is the portrayal of feminism through the character Lily Briscoe and Elizabeth Bennet. Now I will compare both the characters to the lens of feminism. Lily Briscoe's character represents the modern woman and earlier 20th century who breaks the traditional gender roles. She challenges the idea of woman only purpose to serve men and their families, and indeed values her creative pursuits and independence. Next is Elizabeth Bennet's character. She represents a strong-willed and intelligent woman of late 18th and 19th century, and her refusal to marry for money or for social status or outspokenness. She represents the feminist idea. Now, comparing both of them together, Lily Briscoe and Elizabeth Bennet. Lily Briscoe represents the modern woman who sought to break away all the traditional gender roles, while Elizabeth Bennet represents the strong-willed, intelligent woman of late 18th and 19th century who challenged the gender norms but still faced limitations on her independence and opinions. Now I would conclude my presentation. Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse and Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice provide a valuable insight into the feminist movement of 19th and 20th century. Pride and Prejudice reflects the growing awareness of women's rights and emerges as the beginning to challenge gender roles and assert their independence. Overall, the novels represent the scientific contribution to feminist theory and continue to empower women today. This is my work citation, and thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so now I would like to invite Kamsa Pandya for her presentation.